Hey everyone, thanks for jumping on tonight. My name is Kyle Rainey. I'm a Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I'm so excited that you're here joining us this evening to hear about the business opportunity that is Plexus. You're going to hear from a bunch of guys this evening that Plexus has impacted their lives in great ways, what it's done for their families, with them as individuals. We're so excited to be here to share this opportunity with you this evening. Before we get started, however, I do want to tell you that a little disclaimer. Plexus Worldwide does not guarantee you any type of salary or any kind of income. It's all based on your performance and the performance of your team, and our products do not claim to cure anybody, even though we know they're amazing. This is not a Plexus corporate event, but done by an independent ambassador. And so with that out of the way, I just want to thank you again for being on here this evening. Like I said, my name is Kyle. I live here in Eugene, Oregon with my wife, Cassie. We joined Plexus a little bit over 2 years ago. So let me give you a little bit of our journey and what Plexus has done for us. So 2.5 years ago, a few things were happening in our lives. So I'm a pastor. I've been in ministry my entire career. We were living in Portland, Oregon. We had a lot of kids. We had a heart to adopt, but I was holding down 3 different jobs to try to get by. 3 different jobs, and one of those jobs had me in a plane about 6 months out of the year, and I never saw my family. I had no freedom and no time for my wife and my kids and our huge growing family. And with those 3 jobs, we still couldn't make ends meet. I was on government assistance. We were on welfare. We had food stamps. And I really believed that this was my narrative. This was going to be my story. This was going to be my lot. We were just going to struggle for the rest of our days. However, my wife heard from randomly a former student in my student ministry about this thing called Plexus. And so now my wife, probably like many of your spouses, she's a researcher and she's the boss in my house. So she comes up to me, she says, Kyle, I think I've found an amazing opportunity for us to get healthy. And so you know as well as I do, whenever your finances are in ruin, your health goes right out the window too as well. You don't have that type of ability to focus on your health because you're too worried about your finances, and stress causes all these things. So Cassie introduced these products to us, and we started taking them, and immediately I started feeling amazing. What I love about Plexus is because all the products look at your gut health and the overall health of your gut, and we believe that from there, all the symptoms that we find in our body will start being to get better and start to improve. And so I found myself having energy. I found myself having alertness, but however, I was still all over the place. I was still flying all over the place, barely making it. And I remember about 2 months into Plexus, my wife came to me. She said, honey, I want 1 year of our time. I said, 1 year. And she says, yeah, just give me 1 year and I'm going to work this business hard. I want you to come alongside me and try to do this. And now I was skeptical. Like many of you are probably skeptical about MLMs. I was skeptical as well. I knew the products worked and I knew that they were amazing, but I thought, man, about selling them, and I'm in ministry and I have all these other jobs. What are people going to think? And my wife convinced me, she said, give me 1 year and see what can happen. See what we can do with this opportunity. And so we did. We partnered together, and 1 year to the date, by simply just sharing Plexus products with our friends, our family, and our network, I was able to leave all 3 of my jobs. I was able to literally early retire because of the financial freedom that Plexus brought to us. Now I'm home with my kids all the time. I'm able to then now go and take them to school and pick them up. I'm a basketball coach now with my kids. I have all the freedom in the world that I can give now to my children. And I also do pastor a church here in town in Eugene, but that's by choice. And I'm able to be part-time there and actually take the money they save from paying me full-time and go hire other staff and bless them because of the financial opportunity that Plexus has given us. It has literally changed our lives. And it is for anybody. We were just ordinary people, had never done multi-level marketing before, had never done any kind of direct sales before. And we got into Plexus just simply sharing with our friends of the amazing things we started happening. The reality is, when month 1 came through and I found that we could pay for our products, I told God, I said, hey man, that's great. If that's all this does is pay for our products, that's awesome. Then month 2 came and we could pay for our car, our car payment. Then month 3 came, it was like the car, the products, and now a little bit of the rent. And now 2 years later, we see ourselves in a position where we're not worried about paying bills. We are praying through, how can we now bless other people? We can now invest in things in which we've always wanted to invest in. We can invest in people and ministries and organizations and causes that we care about. Plexus has allowed us then to partially pay for 3 adoptions. So we've actually get to change the lives of 3 other kids and give them a forever family simply because of the freedom that Plexus has given us. This business works. It's like no other you've ever seen. And like I said, you're going to hear from me tonight a little bit more later this evening, but this evening you're going to hear from all these guys and how Plexus has changed their lives. And it has literally been a unique opportunity that they took advantage of, and now they're seeing the fruit of it. So I want to introduce our first presenter this evening. Brett Bell lives in the great state of Oklahoma with his beautiful wife, Brandy. They're both Plexus ambassadors. Brett has a real heart for community. He runs the Plexus Brotherhood page. It's this Facebook page where new male ambassadors can come and be a part of this brotherhood and hear stories from others, be encouraged by others. And he loves community, loves guys out there. So, Brett, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm very thankful to be included in this tonight, and I'm even more thankful that you let me go first because the rest of the guys are going to be a pretty tough act to follow. So thanks for that, Kyle. Like you said, I live in Oklahoma. I'm a Ruby ambassador. My wife, 3 years ago, heard about this Plexus thing, and like Kyle said, I was a skeptic. Thank God I was a quiet skeptic, and I didn't say anything that I would have to regret later. So I sat back and just kind of watched and waited for it to fade away. But there was some things in my life that weren't going well. And when I started noticing my wife was sleeping like a rock, that got kind of annoying, and I wanted to have that as well. So I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot. And then slowly along the way, we started noticing that her pay was increasing, my pay was increasing, and all we were doing was sharing about these products with people. Friends and family, people were getting better. And I've been in sales a long time. That's what I do from Monday through Friday. And I've done it for over 2 decades. And this doesn't feel like sales at all. It's an amazing feeling to be able to help and improve people's lives. And to get paid for it is a huge blessing. Along the way, some things have happened that normally would have just stopped us in our tracks. We had a dishwasher that broke down. Typically when something like that would happen, we'd have to go out and scrape together some money, put it on a credit card, something like that to get a new dishwasher. And with Plexus, we were able to go out and just replace it, pick the one my wife wanted, no big struggle. We were able to pay our car off early, so we don't have a car payment anymore. But more importantly, the biggest thrill for us is we'll be able to give more to our church. Into missions, and to be able to bless our friends. We have some friends that have run across some difficulties, and we were able to help them out. So to me, that's probably the biggest high we get from doing this, is to be able to bless other people's lives, just because we feel like it's a blessing to us. We did not start this with the goal to run a business. 3 years ago, if my wife would have said, hey, we're going to start selling vitamins and supplements, I probably would have checked her into the mental institution. But she's a registered nurse, so she did a lot of research on the products. And I thought, well, I know it's not going to kill you. My wife's a registered nurse, and she did all the background. Nothing's going to hurt us. So we got involved, and gradually she started seeing that her pay was replacing her nursing salary, and so now she went from full time to working 3 days a month, which is amazing. Here personally, lately, I've gone through some issues with my job. I didn't do it, but I actually had the opportunity where I could have just left and I could do what I wanted to do because we didn't have that financial burden to worry about what we were going to do from month to month. It's been a true blessing for us. And like Kyle said, we started a page for guys. The main thing with my wife and I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm very blessed for the fact that I have a teammate, a running buddy who's my best friend. So if I'm talking to a woman that I feel like my wife might be able to get in touch with a little bit better and to communicate with, I can throw people her way, and vice versa. She's thrown men my way. But through doing that, we've been able to build a good business. My wife's an Emerald. I'm a Ruby. We have so much freedom right now to where we don't have to worry about curveballs that life throws at us and things that come our way. And again, I would have laughed my tail off if my wife would have said 3 years ago, hey, we're going to start this business and we're going to run it out of our home. It's been a very, very big blessing in our life.
That's awesome, Brett. Thank you so much for sharing, man. Love your heart. You and Brandy are amazing people that we got to know, and that's one of the great benefits about Plexus. You get to know these amazing couples along the way, this journey, and that you realize we're not alone. So, thank you so much, Brett. Hey, I'm really excited to introduce you next, Daryl Roski. Daryl is an adopting dad like myself, and actually adopted kiddos from China like myself, and so we got kindred spirit there. Him and his wife Michelle are Plexus ambassadors living in the great state of Indiana. And Daryl, we'd love to hear from you, my friend.
All right. So yeah, so my story starts a lot like your guys's. It's my wife was very researchy and did a lot of research. Talked a lot with Cassie, and so about 2 years ago, she started in with the products right before we went and adopted our first son from China, and and really that's when it all started. She was feeling a lot better when we went there. She was totally drained and exhausted all the time, and just seeing her energy pick up, being able to go through. We had just had a baby. We actually took a 3-month-old baby to China with us, so people thought we were crazy. Um, and so just being able to go through that portion just really opened up my eyes to the products, and and that's where it started. And then about I struggled a lot with sleep and things of that nature, and I actually failed a sleep study test in like a half an hour. They said I was so bad. I mean, I would constantly wake up gasping for air and things of that nature. And so I had a lot of struggles myself, and I really started. It took me a little while to really be convinced of it, I guess. I mean, I saw how I was working with my wife, but I was just like, that's good for her, kind of a thing. And so that's when I eventually started it. She really encouraged me to start taking some of the products, and it was probably about 2 or 3 months after I was started with my CPAP, I decided to start taking the products. And within a month, I was off of it, and I haven't been back on it now. It's been over a year. So that's, for me, that's something that's been a really big blessing. Within the business, though, it's been a pretty awesome. I mean, my wife's a rock star. She's up there at a senior Ruby, I know right now, and just keeps on plugging away and just working her tail off. And I feel kind of bad sometimes that I'm not doing as much since I'm working full time, but um, it's just been a blessing just seeing just the income come in, the things that it's been able to provide for us. It helped with our last adoption here, and my wife went in April. It's helped us with paying for a lot of different things within being able to send my kids to private school, those types of things, and so that's really been it. Myself personally, I know uh, I don't contact all the ladies like she does, but I know a lot of the guys, and that I try to really encourage them through their struggles, and try to get them on board with especially when their wives are hounding them and stuff like that, just kind of showing them and proving the results of what can happen when they are faithful with it. And I guess that's really my thing, I guess, is just, helping support her, helping support some of these other guys, encouraging them here locally, and I know even through Facebook. Um, and I definitely see the business side really. I know Brett's talked about it a lot with just all the things that can help provide. Just provide. It keeps my wife from having to go out and get a job. Allows her to be at home with. I got 2 little ones under 3. And just being able to run them around and spend that special time with them, nurturing them while they're growing up, and that's really been the biggest blessing for us. So.
Thank you, Daryl. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Some of the things that it allows us to do. And I love Daryl. He's a great example of a guy who just really has always supported his wife from the get-go and really connects with the guys. And that's one thing about Plexus is you'll notice if you jump in, which I hope you do, as an ambassador, you'll notice it's a pretty heavily female-dominated company. Why it's probably doing so well, quite frankly. But that means there is such a grand opportunity to reach out an untapped network of guys in your life to come and be a part of this business. Thank you so much, Daryl. Hey, the next up we got is Matt McComas. Matt and his wife Jody are both ambassadors living in the great state of Oregon with us, up in the great city of Portland, where all the hipsters go and live. And Matt is one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Matt has been with the parachurch ministry organization for many, many years, and he's a part owner of a design company that's doing amazing things. He's an entrepreneur and a wonderful guy and a good friend. Matt, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate the introduction. I'm flattered by that. Kyle and Cassie are some of our favorite people. We met them a couple years ago here at church here in Portland. So, again, my name is Matt. My wife her name is Jody, and she is a senior Ruby ambassador, and she runs the business of Plexus in our family for sure. But I try to support her as best I can. We have two amazing kids as well, elementary and junior high, middle school, I guess what it's called now. So Kyle's right. I do have 2 day jobs. I worked for a missions organization for a long time. And, but about a year ago, I launched my own business, which had kind of been a dream of mine, partly as a result of being able to financially because of the work my wife had been doing with Plexus. So it's been pretty fun. I now have a home office that I share with my wife, which we haven't killed each other yet. So that's awesome. We actually really enjoy working together most of the time, like 90% of the time. So that's good. But I'm a big fan of Plexus, and I'm a big fan of what the health products have done for us, for our family, but also the business side as well. So I just want to share a couple things from my perspective, what it's been like to watch her lead out in this and what we've learned along the way. What it's done for our family and for me and for our family and for my wife as well. So I would just say the first thing that I've really grown to appreciate is that the products do work. And my wife has drastically transformed in the last 2.5 years. Still hearing me all right? Okay. So so her health has been drastically transformed in a way that has been pretty remarkable. I could show you stacks of medical bills from about 4 or 5 years ago that we just don't even have to deal with anymore. And that for me, as I was dealing with that, takes away a whole another level of stress and financial stress and all that stuff too. But her life has been transformed. Our family is the most healthy they've ever been. And then just personally for me, like really tangibly, that I have enough energy at the end of the day to play with my kids as a result of these products. It's a big deal for me. So I'm really, really thankful for that. So my wife, she just loves people. She loves to care for people, loves to serve, help people grow emotionally, spiritually, physically. And Plexus for her is just a tool to live out who she is. So I really have seen her come alive in ways that I haven't experienced for a long, long time. She's grown in ways that are really significant. She's tackled big goals. She's leaned into stuff that is maybe a little uncomfortable at times, but she's become more alive and more confident as a leader, as a woman, which is really cool. And I would just say too, like for her to have a job that is incredibly flexible, and for our family to have a job that is flexible, that can fit into what we can give to it, fit into the needs and the schedules of our family. It's the real deal. And I would just say, I hate clutter in my house. I'm a minimalist at the core. So I love not having inventory related to the business too in our house. I love that. Like most of these guys, I was pretty, not skeptical, but wanted to do my homework on making sure this company was legit, and I did. And so I, went through, you could say all this stuff about it's backed by Morgan Stanley, all that stuff, but I would just say it's credible. It's legit. Its compensations plan is the real deal. Like any company, it's not perfect by any means, but I would say the leadership's trying their best to do what's right and trying to be authentic about it too, which is awesome. I would just say it's not fake work either. My wife isn't, it's real work that she does, that she puts in. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes there's some minutia, but it's worthwhile because she gets to deal with people, and people matter. So it's given her avenues into people's lives that are really significant, they're different and meaningful in a lot of ways. So it's really fun to see that the avenue that I have now too, because of that, into the lives of people. We juggle our schedule. It's a little crazy. It means having to negotiate who does the dishes and who puts the kids to bed sometimes, but we love it. We love being in control of those things and have the opportunity to not necessarily do the 8 to 5 job all the time, but to make it work for our family in a way that's really helpful. So I get to be home at 3 PM when I'm picking up my kids, that type of stuff. It's just made a difference for our family. I would say it's for my wife to watch her become really, in a way, more of who she is, I think has been really significant for me as her husband, for our marriage, and just for our family. And for our kids to watch her lead out to dream and create is the real deal. Mom isn't apathetic or just kind of stuck in a rut anymore. Mom is alive and running and gunning and loving people, and for the kids to watch that is awesome too. So I just say the business side, I mean, the health products have transformed our lives for sure, but the business side too has made a huge difference. It's allowed us to dream again, which is really fun and really cool. But it's just transformed more than just financial too. The financial blessing's awesome, but it's just transformed our family's well-being. We just feel alive in a lot of ways that we haven't in a long time. So I'm really, really thankful for that. So thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Matt. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I know some of you guys on tonight that are watching this Zoom meeting, maybe your wife is a new ambassador, and you're going along going, man, I just don't know about this. And you've heard from a lot of these guys that, like, a lot of us weren't necessarily skeptical, that we trusted our wives, but we want to do our homework. Take it from guys who love to do their homework, who want to know it's a legit thing, who never want to get their spouse involved into something that would hurt their family or hurt her as an individual, to be tricked, if you will, to be bait and switch, whatever. And Plexus is just the real deal. It is absolutely the most authentic company. It's an amazing company. So thank you so much, Matt. And I love the example that you gave of just supporting your wife if she leads the way, and just that idea of being alive. Like, I love that, man. You're just alive, and just have life in your house. And it's another just amazing family. So last up tonight, we have Chris McCall. Chris is one of the first dudes that I ever contacted when I was in Plexus and was like, man, help. Like, how do we do this? I don't know what to do. And he's been a real blessing to our family. And him and his wife, Susie, are both ambassadors living in the great state of Oklahoma at the top of this company. And you never probably met more hilarious people in your life, but more authentic and genuine people in my entire life. So, Chris, thanks so much for being on here tonight. And take it away, sir.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. You guys, every single guy, every one of you guys had joined for like some awesome cause. Like, I'm going to donate my time to my church, and we're going to adopt kids from China. And I'm over here. The reason we joined is I wanted to drive a Ferrari and own a helicopter. Is that wrong? No, not really. But it is funny because I look back on this now, and I would not have known any of these guys that are on here now. And like knowing and getting a chance to see y'all and hear your story every time I hear it, I still get blown away. A couple things I want you to know. Plexus is just as much for dudes as it is for chicks, okay? We talk about it because it's a female-dominated industry, and really, like Kyle said, it plays to our advantage because I don't know anybody that doesn't need more energy, that may need to shed a few pounds, or would enjoy some financial margin. So just a glimpse as to why I want to encourage you to join Plexus, because I want you to learn from some mistakes that I made. And basically, I would bet you that every guy on this Zoom tonight has been taught for generations that in order to make money or income, you have to trade your time for money. And I'm here to tell you that we have truly found a better way with Plexus. I don't know how else to put it, but I like to say I'm psychologically unemployable, okay? Which means I'm not coming to work for you. I'm not interested in how much you're going to pay me. I value my time so much, and that time can be spent doing and pursuing passions that I love. So here's how we started Plexus. My wife came home, super, super healthy person, and said we were going to start this little pink drink. Now, I've been married to her for a long time, and she taught fitness classes and very healthy. And I thought it was hilarious that she was going to suggest that we were going to take a supplement, because before Plexus, she told me, she goes, there's only one way to good health, Chris, and that's eat right and exercise. And so when she suggested the supplement, I laughed out loud, like horse laughed, kind of laughed. And I told her, I said, wait a second, what's this? And she goes, no, this is different because you can measure and see that it's working. And I go, what do you mean? She goes, well, just drink it. And I go, okay, I will. But I'm going to do it publicly, okay? I'm not going to do it in my closet at home. I'm going to put it on Facebook. And so I came on Facebook, and I was like poofing out my cheeks. And you can scroll back onto my timeline years ago, but I go, my wife says I'm going to drink this pink stuff, and I'm going to get skinny. And I'm like poofing out my cheeks. And then, of course, we hadn't even received the products yet, but I came on an hour later, and I'm like holding my face, and I'm like, you guys, this stuff works. It's amazing. But I'm telling you this because I was skeptical, okay? We had made a lot of money in the mortgage business. We had gone really broke in the mortgage business. I think that the Lord took us and soaked us and marinated us in broke because it gave us such appreciation for the freedom that Plexus has given us now. When we found Plexus, we were no longer broke. We had a company that we were a fishing manufacturing company, and I thought, well, at least we're going to make a living, because I didn't care about making $1 million, and I wasn't worried about stuff and things. But when Plexus came around, it was a natural. Brett said something a second ago, and he and I are alike, and I think a lot of the guys that you see on here tonight, for me, sales was a method and a means to feed my family. I had never sold anything that I was passionate about, ever. I was in the mortgage business. I didn't love mortgages. I wanted to earn enough income to live a certain lifestyle and then feed my family. With Plexus, it was an accidental business. I mean, think about this. We started telling people, here, let me give you an example. 2 weeks after I started the products, I showed up to get my hair cut, and the guy that cuts my hair says, hey, you used to be fatter. And I was like, hey, I was fatter, buddy. He goes, how do I get some of that stuff? And so just to kind of give you the basics, we all have a website where all of our business is done. When we were talking about not having inventory, that's one of my things that I laugh about. I'm like, our inventory is our own personal product. So anyways, I sent that guy to my website to go order some product for himself because he wanted to lose a few pounds. The company in Arizona shipped him the product directly, and they sent me a commission for that referral. Notice, I didn't have any party. I didn't have a bunch of things over at the house. I didn't send everyone around and have a taste test. I said, go to the website, order some. It's a 60-day money-back guarantee, and so if you lose weight and feel better, keep taking it. If you don't, you get your money back. Now, Plexus sent us a check. Okay. Now, I didn't know how we made money. I really didn't even understand it. I didn't care because I didn't think we'd make any. Okay. But they sent us a check, and I'll never forget. I'm standing at the mailbox, and my wife is getting emails, and she says, I think we're making money. And I said, Suze, nobody makes any money in those things. What are you talking about? She goes, okay, well, we ripped open our first check, and I'm not kidding you. My jaw dropped. I looked right at Susie and I said, I think that we have done something illegal, okay? Because they had sent us real money, and then I followed that up with, and I like it, okay? Because I could not believe that we could earn that type of income. We could have paid our mortgage like 4 times. And so I said, I want to do more of this. I want to do more of helping people feel the way I'm feeling and the way my mom's feeling and the guy that cuts my hair. And so we're just started telling people. And they had financial ideas and thing margin that they wanted to create. And I remember, Kyle, when we were talking and we were doing just you and I and Cassie, and we were sitting here kind of talking about it, you told me why you wanted to take this thing, and you're like, look, I want to devote my time and attention to my church. And I thought, yeah, you're exactly who we're talking about. Because here's the other thing. Anybody can do this. And so I just want you to know that this business in the next 2 to 3 years will be our greatest growth as a company. And I like to tell people, because it's the truth, that now is the best time to ever become a Plexus ambassador, because the opportunity and the tools and the testimonies and the help that you guys have, we didn't have. We were just kind of going through it. We knew the products worked, we knew the business worked, but we didn't have enough people to share it with. And so if you came on here super skeptical, no problem. But know this, just joining doesn't mean anything. There's no magic check showing up at your house. It's like you have to put forth effort. I've heard everyone saying this is real work. We do, but the benefits with the residual income continue to pay you. And so you don't have to constantly trade time for money. We could spend all night. I think every single guy on here, Brett, Daryl, we could all sit here and tell story after story after story. But what I've learned is, and this is what's cool, is your story could be the one that's on the next broadcast, and then we'll all be sitting back on the couch going, he's in here because he watched our broadcast and he took a chance and he's in now. But that's how this thing works. I don't think you'll find a better group of people either. The culture here is unbelievable. The amount of people that that love the Lord and that love to openly profess their faith. That's why I love doing what I want to do. No one's going to tell me that I can't do that because it's my business. And so that can be true for you too. So, hey, listen, I got a timer. You guys don't know how difficult. 7 minutes for me, woo! I could talk and talk and talk. But thank you so much for inviting me to share with you guys. I really appreciate it a ton.
Thank you, Chris, man. And I'm impressed. 7 minutes, man. That was impressive. That was very impressive. It was like the Micro Machine guy back from the early 80s, you know, just going off, talking fast. Hey, I just really want to thank all of you for being on tonight for our panel. Thank you so much, guys, for your stories. They're amazing. Before we get off, I just want to touch on a few things real quick. Like Chris said, this is the best time to jump in right now. It is the absolute best time because I think a lot of it, especially when I talk to some guys, they say, well, you know, this is only a few people make it in this business. No, not with Plexus. Anybody can do it, and we want everybody to come on with us because we don't compete with each other because we have this thing called One Plexus. If one does well, we all do well. And so we're all in this together. We're a huge community wanting to see this business grow. And like Chris said, the next 2 or 3 years, man, it's just going to be booming. And we want you here on the ground level, and there's still room for you. There really is still room for you. Also, Plexus doesn't have to be a plan A, career. A lot of these guys, like Chris and I, this is what we kind of do for a living. This is what we do. Now, I pastor on the side, but and that's my passion, and I love it. But, man, I'm a Plexus ambassador. A lot of these guys, they have jobs, and they work Plexus in the margins of their life. That's natural for them to be able to take an hour, some take 3 hours. I mean, it just really depends on what their season of life is. And so if you're sitting there right now like, I don't have 8 hours a day to devote to talking to you about these products, man, you got 30 minutes? Because here's the thing. Every person could use $300 to $400 a month more than what they're making now. That could change some of your lives. I mean, and if that's all where you want to go, man, that's great. That's fantastic. Man, we have your back. But the reality is, if you want to go further along, we know you can with these products and with this company. You can go as far as you put your effort and energy to it. I love what Chris says all the time. It says that, you know, the only difference between someone who starts out in this business, someone who's on the top of this business, is consistency and time. I mean, that's really it. And so here's the thing. We do have a grand opportunity of guys to reach all, you know, other kinds of men in our lives and our circles for Plexus. But the reality is that a lot of us have this narrative, and you've heard a lot of us talk about our stories tonight. And we had this narrative where, you know, we thought this is where we were going to be and what we were going to do. But then Plexus came along and completely changed that narrative. I know some of you are sitting here listening to this going, okay, handful of guys, this is what happens to them. But, man, that's just not going to be my life. Man, it could be your life. And the reality is none of us are sitting here, none of us, you didn't hear anybody tonight going, well, I just got this new car. I just bought this new house. We all talk about the freedom it's given us with our family, and the freedom it's given us to give to other things and other people, the freedom that it's going to give us to be able to pay bills so that we can spend time with our kids and the people that we love. That's what Plexus can do for you. That's what this business can do for you, where you can work in the margin of your life. Some of you have dreams and you have goals and you have vision in your life that you would love to see come to fruition. And a lot of you are just one opportunity away for seeing that coming through. And that opportunity can be Plexus. So, hey, guys, thanks so much for being on tonight. To the guys that participated in the Zoom call, thank you so much as well. After we're done here, we're going to have an opportunity for you to be able to ask questions in the comments here in a little bit, and we'll try to jump on and answer as much as you can. Guys, again, appreciate you being here tonight. Take care and have a wonderful evening.